Welcome to the McAllister Report. We join John McAllister, top football evaluator, as he shares wisdom and interviews coaches and athletes from around the country. Enjoy today's podcast.
Hello, this is John McAllister, and today with the McAllister Report, we're going to jump into around the state and talk about one of my favorite football players in the 24 class in Ohio. Jordan Marshall could very well be the best running back in Ohio. 5'11-ish, 195 pounds, and he has really good speed, but he's also considered inside runner. Inside the tackles, and he can break tackles, and he's physical, and he has the speed then to, get away from people. Jordan Marshall. Great interview coming up. He's articulate. He's soft-spoken, and just the opposite of what he is on a football field. So please sit back and enjoy my video podcast with Cincinnati Moeller running back Jordan Marshall in the Ohio class of 2024, and who I consider the best running back in that class. Jordan Marshall, how are you today?
I am doing great. How are you?
You told me you rolled in from Tennessee last night, huh?
Yes, sir. It was a very fun trip.
How long a drive?
It's about 4 on the dot.
Okay. 4 on the dot, man. I've driven to Iowa State before. That's longer than 4 on the dot. Okay. Yeah. Good. I know that you have gained a lot of publicity as one of the top running backs in Ohio. You play at Moeller. And football is back at Moeller, isn't it?
Yes, sir. We have a great coaching staff, and we're getting things rolling again.
Good. You get a little bit of your whole team gets that little Moeller swagger back. You lost it for a couple of years, I think. Now you're getting that little swagger back.
Yeah, I think we found our people, and Coach Elder's there for the kids and knows what he's doing. So.
That's really good, Jordan. That's super. Okay, you're running back. Let's talk about measurements. How tall are you?
I'm about 5'11" even.
Okay, and how much you weigh now?
195.
Do you really? That's really
yes,
good. I'm sure you put on good weight, and that's really good. But before we get into football, let's talk about other sports, because a lot of people do that. A lot of players play at least 2, and your other sport's baseball.
Yes.
Tell me about baseball. You're fast, you're quick. So where do you bat in the order?
I bat 1, and I think that's because of my speed. And when I get on, it's pretty much guaranteed me getting the 3rd.
Ooh, that's good, man.
Yes, sir.
That's really good. So you get a good jump on the pitcher too, I'm sure, with your speed.
Sir.
You play center field, you told me earlier. That's really good. Moeller baseball, that's pretty good baseball. They're coming back too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about you before we get to football. What drives you, Jordan? What drives you to be the best?
My family, 100%. So my mom's always preached to me to work hard for what I want. And I would say she's a big influence in my life, maybe the biggest. So I would say my mom is one who pushes me every day in and out.
Okay, so you just answered one of my questions. Who do you look back on as somebody that's really kicked you in the rump once in a while, things like that, and pushed you? And you'd say your mom, right?
Yes, sir.
That's really no better reward than that for a mother to have her son say that. Okay, let's talk about what are words you live by, Jordan. Now, like I've got all kind of posters, and I was a football coach and taught English, and I have all these quotes and everything. And one of them is find a way to get it done, find a way to make it work. Even at my age, find a way to make something work. What words you live by? Anything like that?
I've always lived by always stay humble and kind, because right now I could blow, or I am kind of sort of blown up, but I would say just keeping my head straight, because there's a lot of kids and parents that look up to me to teach their kids the right way. And then kind is just, you're never too good for anybody. So always go out of your way to help somebody.
You can't beat that. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. Okay, let's talk about football now for a little bit. You're a running back. What's the toughest part of being a running back? Toughest part.
The toughest part, I would say blocking is the toughest part. Just learn, like, you have to ID a whole bunch of stuff on the defense, and your eyes have to scan. So I would say running or blocking is a pretty tough part.
Picking up that blitz and things like that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's something, as you know, you'll have to do in college.
Yes, sir.
You'll have to do in college. That's really, really good. And I watched, you have a couple on your highlight film. At least you're going after the guy.
Yeah.
I saw you block a couple of times in there. Okay, what do you look as a strength, more of your strengths? What do you think you're strong at? And with it, and it's being humble, but what are your strong points besides blocking now as a ball carrier?
I would say I am very, I'm a power back, but I'm also shifty, which is very good. So I can run through. I have multiple ways to make a guy miss, whether that's going through them or making a move and getting upfield.
Good.
I would say open space.
Yeah. Now, I was going to tell you later that I think that's one thing you have to work on. And that's not saying you don't.
Yeah.
But I think that's, if I were coaching, you do a lot of things right, and I'll tell you that in a minute. But I think one of the things in open space, maybe it comes from studying film and just getting a sense. Some guys just have the sense right now, and you've got that. You're getting that. Plus, you have the speed. And I also like the way you come tackle to tackle. Usually, you break that first tackle, and the other guy slows you down. I mean, you run with power. You've said that. And the other thing I like, catching the football. When you catch the football out of the backfield, it's a natural thing. Does that make sense to you? You
Yes.
just catch the ball and go. It's not something that you worry about. It's just natural and stuff like that. And I just wrote some things down here. And the thing is, right now, of a lot of the running backs I've seen in Ohio, you seem to have, you have a small fifth gear coming. You get faster, and that's really good. That's a good sign. And plus, you're so young. So everything you say, a year from now, you're going to be so much better than you're going to do your senior year. So some of it's suggestions more than anything else.
Yeah.
What do you think you have to work on? Is that what you said? Blocking you have to work on, or
I would say,
get better?
Getting better at it, I would say blocking is a huge step, because at the next level, I'm going to have to block. And my goal is someday to make it to the NFL. And 3 things you have to be able to do is run, pass, or catch, and block, because you have to protect that quarterback back there. So,
and one more thing you forgot to mention that you have a little bit of physicality now. You play with a little bit of physicality.
I think you need a good little hit on you every once in a while, because growing up I played both sides. I played running back and linebacker. So I think some of that physicality from being a linebacker.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay, I have my first silly question for you. If you could trade places for one day with somebody, who would it be? Who would you like to trade places with for? And it can be anybody. Okay,
In the world?
in the world, anybody. And we can't count your mom because she's a great lady. Now, who else would you trade places with?
Maybe like a Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. Why Bruno Mars?
If there's like one quality I wish I had, I wish I could sing like really, really well. So
Okay,
I think it would be cool to have like a concert and stuff and be Bruno Mars.
so now you just messed up one of my other funny questions is, and I'll go to it. What talent would you like to have, but you don't have, and you'll never get, and you'll never be able to get it?
So this is actually pretty funny. It's singing, but I'm actually in the men's chorus at Moeller.
Oh wow!
And the teacher says I'm all right, but all right isn't good enough. So
Okay.
singing.
Well, hopefully you get that talent more and more.
Yeah.
We'll see you. Okay, let's talk about football again. What would you tell a young football player, young running back? What would you tell him to work on? What would you tell him? The advice that you would give him.
An advice I would give a young running back is learn. I would say listen, because you can't listen enough. I would say taking the coaching and being able to put it in a game, or just listening. I would say even if that skill seems a little wrong, listen, try it, and move on. That you're going to get taught so many different ways, but there's going to be some way that works better for you. And then I would say mindset as a little kid. These little kids think like they're so good and stuff. And I would say our generation and my generation needs to be a little more humble with the things they say and do.
Okay, good. That's really good. Okay, we talked about that and we talked about advice. Let's go to academics. You said earlier you like you like the classroom, and it's important to you. What are some of your school subjects?
I am in. So my favorite subject is math. I'm in honors geometry.
That's good if it is, because it's so hard.
Yeah, I would say math has always been my strong suit. And next year I'll actually be taking honors geometry and trig.
Is that right?
Algebra and trig. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's Moeller. That's a cupcake school, man. Academics. I'm joking with you. I'm joking with you. I know Moeller. Okay, that's really good. What if you don't make it in the pros, which is really that's not a crazy. I mean, if you don't make it, that's a great dream. What would you do 10 years from now? What will you do there then?
So I really want to go in the business field, and I really want to start my own business with kind of like a updated YMCA. And
really?
But have all so I would run football, and we would have fields in our facility, and I would be the main person over that, training kids, and there would be basketball, swimming, baseball, but all these different things that maybe ex-players could come back, or people that just love the game that really want to stay in it can still be a part and make a difference in kids' life.
That is so huge, because that's the coming thing, Jordan, by the way. That is the coming thing, those kind of facilities and everything. Mm-hmm. And that's really good. And you can even train, it might even help to go to school when you're going to college, take those kind of classes and stuff. I mean, There are all kind of programs now for that, and that's, I'm well aware of those. The building's probably the most expensive thing, but
Mm-hmm.
other than that, it's really good. Okay, super. Uh, silly. Is there a top? Now you're young, but has there been a top sports moment for you? Has there been something so far that you're going to talk about? 10 years after you graduate, you know how these guys all get around and relive high school days. Has there been a time so far that you would put in a scrapbook? I call it a little bit like a scrapbook. Anything like that so far?
I would say scrapbook moment. There's two of them.
Okay.
The Elder loss was a big scrapbook moment, which I think changed our whole season, which is weird because we lost. But that changed a lot for us as a program, and that will go down as one of my favorite games of all time just because it showed what was in us after that game. And we had a lot to overcome. And then I would say the St. Ed's game. I think that was one of the best games we played. Really good team, really good coach, and we just matched up well against each other. And that was seeing the seniors go out there and work hard, and I can work hard for them. I didn't have my best game, and there's some games I won't have my best game, but it's just going out there and playing 100%. So that will always be one of my favorite games. Both of those will be some of my favorite games ever.
Well, the trouble with the big parochial schools in Ohio, you guys have to play each other a lot. And, you played two really good teams. Okay, let's talk real quickly. Won't go too much farther, but let's talk about video. I think it's important to talk about videos and watching videos. Do you watch a lot of video? Other opponents in your game?
Yes,
You personally?
Yes,
You watch it?
A whole bunch. So I actually have studied almost all the GCL. Like those three and Edwards, I've studied like crazy. Their defense, just what certain people do, just because I love watching film. And I've been on my coach to put out the Massillon film for next year. And he's like, Jordan, we have time. But it's just, I love watching film. I'll even watch my film because there's always something I can get better at.
Right. It's good. I'll tell you, I love to study film, even now with all these players, prospects. But if you watch somebody long enough, you can get a feel, and even in the game, what they're going to do. It's so important for young players to do that and study film. Okay, let's go. We'll finish up here. Energy is huge, and energy is huge. And when you play sports, energy is huge in almost anything you do. What kind of energy do you bring to the Mower football team? What kind of energy do you bring?
I would say a lot of juice Monday through Thursday. I am crazy, ready to go, pushing my teammates, but when it comes Friday, I am locked in. Like, you will not see a smile. I will not talk to you. And once we hit the field, it's over. But I would say I bring a lot of juice and leadership to our team.
Okay, excitement, and then that's not artificial. That's focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's thinking, and that's focus, and that's really good. And don't make it artificial. I mean, okay. Here's a silly one. What do players say about you behind your back? What do they say? Something good.
So, Joe Giannetti plays on our team, linebacker.
Yeah.
He says he loves me. He says I get him better. I make him work harder. And I would think, I don't know, because if they say it behind my back, but I would think I have a respect just because I treat everybody the same.
Good.
And I'm actually good friends with Teddy Hammond from
Yeah.
St. X.
He's a pretty
And
good player.
I have so much respect for him and what he does. And I'm certain he has the same respect for me. And
Good.
after the game, we shake each other's hands and we're brothers again.
Good. That's really good. Okay. Was there ever a time when the switch came on for you, when the light came on, or when you said it's time to step it up? Has there been a time like that in your football career where you said, you know, you kind of said it after the Elder game, I think it was. I mean, was there a time when you realized I got to get better or I got to do this? Was there ever a time like that? If there's not, that's okay.
No, I think there always is. I would say an elder, that was a big point, because I would say right after my freshman year, I was like, I want to be the dude. Like, I want to be the guy getting these reps and winning some of these games and helping us win games. Like, I just want to be the guy that can do that for my team. Elder game was a big one. And even going to see some of these schools and stuff, it's humbling because all these guys are the same skill. There's going to be a lot of people with the same skill as me from all around the country. So I would say that was a big point where I'm like, I got to get in the weight room. I got to get better. I got to catch 100 more balls. But something I would tell anybody, and I live by this also too, is do not let anybody ever outwork you. Whether that's at a camp, if you're reading a book, schoolwork, it doesn't matter. You always outwork that person next to you, in front of you. And if somebody is doing it better than you, you better find out how to do it like them or do it 100% every single time.
It's really good. Okay, now, I don't even talk about recruiting, but is it going pretty well? Are you enjoying it?
Yes, I'm enjoying it so much, and sometimes it's crazy. But I would say one thing that I love about recruiting is just the connections I get to make, the relationships.
Right.
I can see my mom gets kind of sad because she doesn't want me to leave or go anywhere far, but she's always there for me and wants me to just make the right decision. And I would say being able to share it with my family, this experience is just great. My family and friends, it's just so much fun that I get to go through this, and it's just it's a blessing that I get to have this opportunity.
Well, and then we can close. You've done a great job. Yeah, I guess in recruiting, tell them to look at 24/7 or On3 and all those guys. Okay, if they want to know your favorite schools or your visits and things like that, right?
Yes,
We're not
sir.
going to do that here. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Jordan. You've done a great job. I appreciate it a lot. And by the way, so this will be on someplace. Yeah, I think you are the best running back in the 24 class. Okay, you're the number one. I would rate you the number one running back for whatever it means in Ohio. Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
stay with it and keep working hard.
Yes, sir. I will do.